You see, when you're chasing the league, these are the games that are the most important. It's the games where you're in the Free State, it's a random Saturday, your star player is not available, your coach is in the stands, and the guys you're chasing have just won their game. These are the tests that you get to see whether you are ready to go and win the league. And what Pirates did today was show that maybe mentally, maybe motivation-wise, they're not quite there. And maybe this is the burden of having games in hand while you're chasing somebody that has won the league 7 times in a row. You see, this game had all of these things come together, but also served to expose some of the problems that Pirates has had all season long that maybe they didn't fix. I've said before that the front line of Pirates is not as fluid as we think it is. And the moment they meet a team that is a little bit more structured and disciplined, which Marumo Gallants was today, a team that will absorb the space and stop your players from playing, they're not going to be able to do anything there. We've spoken about the midfield of Orlando Pirates, and when Tito's not there, on top of the normal issues, there's nobody who's there to take responsibility for the ball and be the one that says, you know what, I want this ball. We've seen Dlamini before. We know that Dlamini is not a first player. He's a secondary player. He plays well next to the guy. We've spoken about Utalente Mbata and how at times he tends to hide. How at times he tends to go missing. How at times he doesn't seem to be switched on. And Umakaula, for all of his defensive greatness, going forward or passing the ball or progressing the ball, he's not quite there. You know, when I saw Shandu the first time Coach Rivero did this, I thought that Ushandu was going to be man cover. Have him on the side with Van Rooyen. You know that if Van Rooyen pushes forward, he falls back. But Ushandu doesn't give you much going forward and doesn't possess the qualities of Abonkota, who can maybe create something out of nothing. Dare I say it, you need a Saleh there if you want some action, but we know things are happening on that side. Koki and CBC are slow. The goal that Marumo Gallants scored, the goal that they scored was a goal that comes from the same type of mistakes that they did versus Titus, the same mistakes that were done versus Reyners when Reyners got the assist. You can't have Van Rooyen and Hotto fly. And then on top of that, play a high line, because that's just inviting danger. That's just inviting people running past your centre-back pairing. Oh, and before I forget, the big one. Pirates will give you chances. Pirates will give you clear chances, and it's up to you to go and score the goals. And this match just so happened to take all of that, all of the flaws, all of the games, all of the emotional, all of that stuff, and put it together. And you lose 2-0 to a team that just at the end of last year you beat 8-1. These are the testing games, especially when you have games in hand. And I think I want to take this moment to give credit to Marumo Gallants. This is not the Marumo Gallants that was coached by Dantans. Okay, so I know I stopped the video a lot, and a lot of you are wondering, why are you asking for money? So I wanted to show you. I asked for money because I want to do more of this. Huh? But the truth of the matter is that it took over an hour in order just to render that shot. And it takes even longer when I'm doing my normal content because, guys, here's the unsung hero of the channel. And unfortunately, Shem, wazama, but the screen is broken. I have to use a second screen and the performance is not up to it. So I'd really love to upgrade things like that. And when you look over here, this is what the setup looks like. Rehenga di patlo and rehenga di green screen, which is a reality of being a South African content creator. Also, this is what people think is my studio. Is actually my house. So if you still don't know that I'm doing all of this from my home, then I don't know. But that is essentially what I want to do. More of these cool things. But I need you guys to please help me out by donating 50 Rand or more into this account. You know, we're fighting for multi-choice. And for multi-choice, but there is subscription models all over the place. And I'd love to give the biggest quality while also being able to pay my rent and do things like that. That is where your money is going. And I promise to give you only the best content that I can if you do throw something in. So I just wanted to show you guys what I want to do with your money. I want to take this South African football and fulfill my dream of taking it into the future. But thank you guys so much. Remember, this is the bank account that you deposit into. Get back into the video. And I don't know whether it's the new coach's philosophies or training methods or tactics. I don't know if it's new manager bounce. I don't know what it is, but this Marumo Gallants was not only defensively structured and disciplined in a way that you don't necessarily see with Marumo Gallants usually. But they did that thing that you need to do when you're playing versus Orlando Pirates and teams like Orlando Pirates. Defending and sitting back and playing low block is one side of the coin. But you also have to have some danger going forward so that you stop that team from getting overly confident. Abo Mhango, Abo Sendami, they got a lot of chances where they hit them on the counter. And even if you don't score, it's just that reminder that we're coming for you, that maybe makes the other team think twice. The start of the second half, Pirates came out swinging. And I think Pirates remembered what type of team they are. They are a tempo team. They're not a possession team. They're a team that needs to create chaos in order to create spaces. And maybe themselves, they should have done a bit better with some of the chances they got in the beginning of that second half, right? But that is what Pirates is good at. Turning up the volume, moving your defense around. That's when you start to see Abomfuke come alive. And you start to see the spaces. And that was because the Marumo Gallants in the second half, beginning of the second half, sat back and decided that, you know what, guys, we're going to try and low block, which is usually the blow that kills most teams. But then, I think midway through that second half, Junior Dion comes on, Zindonga gets back into the game, and they start attacking a little bit more and putting Pirates under pressure. I think there's a lot of things that Pirates needs to fix. And like I said in previous games, Orlando Pirates has not been the best attacking team. I think when people misunderstood me saying, if you take away the 8 goals versus Marumo Gallants, you'll see that this is a team that is not as incredible as we say it is. And there's times where players come and save the team. And yes, save the team because you need the 3 points. And if Makaula headers the ball in and Hoto scores a free kick, they will have saved that 3 points and saved the team so that you can continue punching the way you've been punching. But they haven't been fluid. So I think Pirates needs to find itself again. Or Pirates needs to understand that the bench is also important. The thing about these seasons, when you are going long in the league and long in the Champions League and you've won the MTN8 and you're still playing Nedbank Cup, is that sometimes it's not even fatigue. Sometimes it's just that you need to change some things. And the last game that Pirates played, they were able to bring in Abondlondo, Nabomosele. And you could see that they brought something in. And maybe these are the games where you allow Abondlondo, Nabomosele to start the games to capitalize on that momentum that they have and rest some of the other guys. And I know Pirates was out for 10 days. And maybe should have been a little bit more fresh and should have been a little bit more engaged. But I think this is where you bring in the other guys and you let them lead by their hunger, that they've been sitting on the bench for a while. They come in and maybe they can give you performances based off of, I want to get back into the team. While Abo Rile, Abo Mbata, Abo Makaula get their feet back under them, get a little bit of a break from the game side of things. It also prompts a very important question about Orlando Pirates and resting. Because in the beginning of the season, I did ask a question of, is Pirates playing well every game, or is the fact that they're jumping from Champions League to MTN8 to League to this? There was a time where Pirates was playing every 3 days, and maybe the momentum from each of those games was carrying on and carrying on. What happens when you stop? Sundowns fans have been complaining about how Pirates has had time off, and some of the teams have had time off, and this has happened. Why do we play every day? Maybe the gift of playing every day is that you stay in that momentum, at least as long as you can stay fit and not be fatigued. You stay in the momentum of the wins, man, and they carry on going. You won, quote unquote, lucky last game. Maybe you take that into the next game, and you take that into the next game. This is going to be the hardest stretch for Orlando Pirates. Games in hand, pressure's on, the other team is performing and winning and scoring and doing all of those things. Now all of that falls onto you. So Pirates needs to continue on. Gallants, I think, what a great performance, but hopefully it's not one of those things where it's a smaller PSL team playing against a bigger PSL team and they're up for that game, but then when they have to go play their own level of team, Richards Bay and those type of teams, they fall off. Hopefully they can keep this up, because in as much as we didn't like Dens getting fired and all of those things, and we don't like teams and we'd like to punish smaller teams for maybe not being consistent, a better league is always about teams performing, and hopefully Marumo Gallants can keep that up. With Pirates, it's back to the drawing board. Back to the drawing board, back to the tactics board. I think Jose needs to refresh something and maybe change something for the next few games, maybe give the players a different challenge, give the players a different setup structure, and maybe that's going to help them going forward. But I'll speak to you guys on the next one. Well done, Marumo Gallants.